Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me tonight are my partners in crime, Stephen Fore and Mike Haspil. I haven't said that before. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, I want you to know I was going to do it for you, Rob. And then bring myself in also. What's going on, everybody?
How are you now?
So we are one legendary warrior down this week. It was me last week. It is Kenny this week. I just came back from, we had the meeting of the masses, a.k.a. Leaders of the village from across the country come to celebrate my beautiful wedding. My wife and I now, Allie, is amazing. Thank for everybody for the love. And then last week I was in Aruba on my honeymoon. And this week, Kenny has had a slip and fall accident.
Slipped up the stairs.
Slipped up the stairs. It's the worst kind of fall because, as I was joking earlier, when you fall upstairs like I had before, and I'm sure Kenny did, I can only imagine Kenny lumbering around with a burrito, large sandwich, peppered pickles, something like that on a plate. Tiny dog in one hand, plate of food in the other, extremely hungry, right? Walking up the steps, smashes his foot, plate goes flying, right? At this point, your foot's hurting. Your food is everywhere. You're pissed off, and you just go to sleep. Like that's the chain of events.
Yeah,
of what
tiny
happens.
dog is all up in your sandwich and your burrito.
That's right. That's right. You gotta get the other dog away because he has two dogs now from eating the hot peppers. So they don't shit all over the house. You know, like this is tragedy. So, but it happened, and in its realest form, one of the Coast Commander board game that will be coming out is a gout attack for sure.
Oh,
that's exactly
definitely.
that's what Kenny is suffering from. So. Get well gifts and cards to him ASAP.
If you can find the dead possum with the get well sign and the balloons next to him, make sure you drop that on his Facebook wall.
Ooh,
that's the best. That's the best picture ever.
I love it.
But yeah, we're going long and strong, just like you said tonight.
Yeah, a long and strong Robbie B. 2-hour-long show. Normally, for anybody who doesn't know or gets the privy to watch us live or potentially isn't a Long War veteran, if you haven't already, stop what you're doing, head on over to longwar.net, become a veteran of Long War today, where you can always watch the recorded version of the live webcast. Well, today, sirs and ladies, there isn't. We are on this long-haul train headed for some far coast station. We're going to be going over Vigilance in great detail on what exactly it's going to do. We're going to talk about chapter approved and what that means to the meta, not even necessarily analyzing everybody's point costs anymore. Now it's time to figure out what Space Marine bodies are going to benefit the most. What chapter was the victor of the chapter approved games? And is Eldar Xeno still best overall? I'm excited.
I know the answer to two of those. I hear you got a package in the mail though.
So true story. There's so many things like the cool part of the show is this segment is for David. Shout out. You can listen for the next 20 minutes before we start talking 40K. But shout out for everybody who sent the love. Congratulating, like I said, the wife and I on getting married. It's been a blessing. The ceremony was amazing. Literally, for anybody who hadn't seen all the pictures, we had Mike Haspil, Kenny, Rob, Austin A. Dog, all the VA guys, Kendra Kelsey, Sean Naden, Cap.
Yep,
Cap America flew down. Shout out Clay Cruz. I mean, I'm talking about
Clay Cruz drove down there and then drove back.
And the same night, literally also Big J Troop, Delgado. I mean, dude, it was a gathering of the masses, and it was a beautiful night. It meant so much to see all my friends be there, and it was unbelievable. And we immediately banged that down and then had to hurry up, clean everything up, and we spent last 8 days in Aruba, which was amazing. For anybody who hasn't gotten to Aruba, do it. Don't stay at the Ritz-Carlton because that shit's fucking expensive. Don't do it.
And I don't mean to lessen anything, Juice, but I will say from our side, right, that it's easier to run a wedding than a tournament.
That's true. That is absolutely true. Yeah, unbelievable. You guys, dude, shout out. I don't, know what's going on, but like, dude, Bonet, Kenny's significant other, and Haspil, and you guys, like, literally, so many people came together, and dude, you guys are doing flower stuff. Everyone was like, literally, everybody coming together to make it happen. God, it was just amazing.
It was great.
Heart, huge positiveness. Allie and I just kept talking about. It's unbelievable, man. Great memories. So then we go to Aruba, stay at the Ritz. First off, Aruba is like next level, not even just from like the sun, the beautiful waters, everything else. Jamaica, trash. Literally, you smell trash when you get off the airport, right? Like the Bahamas. For anybody, if we have listeners that live in these areas, like, I'm not calling your entire country trash. I'm talking about from the tourism aspect, right? You go there, you stay in the tourist areas, you do this. Like the Bahamas, when you get there, it is nothing but piles of trash everywhere. You know what I mean? Like the country is beautiful, but like where the tourist areas, it's just not kept up the same. Mexico and all these things, like people immediately trying to sell you drugs everywhere you go and whatever. Aruba is the opposite of all that. Ready for this? True story. You know what disease that I have that I talk about all the time? Small things don't matter syndrome.
Oh,
that too. Small items don't matter syndrome. Guess what I lost in the first 33 minutes of being on the island, because
Passport.
It took 19 minutes to get to from the airport to our private taxi to the hotel at the Ritz at the end of the hotel, or at the end of the island. Walk in, Mr. Fore. I don't know how they knew my name before I got there. Great to see you. We'd love to get you checked in. Absolutely. We're ready to get checked in. I need a credit card and an ID. Sure. No problem, brother.
Oh no.
Where's your wallet?
No wallet. No. Dude, I've been like anal. I'm like, I got the Indiana Jones man bag. I've got like, I'm not losing any of this. As soon as we get to the room, it's all going in the safe and I can go back to normal me. But I'm like, I got hidden compartments in my man sack. I'm got all my IDs and everything else, passports. Literally, it fell out in the damn cab ride. I was like, oh, wow. Allie's starting to freak out. I'm like, this is my honeymoon. I don't care. I will literally order a new car. They'll get this. I'll figure it out, right? And like at this point, no cash on me because I didn't want to travel with cash. Like I'll just start withdrawing from the ATMs. In the wallet was only 3 things: a credit card, my debit card, and my ID. That was it, right? 3 pretty fucking important things. But like I had some cash with me, so I was like, oh, it's gone. I know it is. I look at the guy behind the counter, right hand to God. He says, "You lost your wallet?" His name is Bjorn. Okay. Bjorn says,
wow.
No lie. Bjorn says, big swole dude, right? You lost your wallet? You don't have it? I said, dude, I literally lost it. Must be in the taxi. Who was it? I have no idea. What was the name of the company? I don't know. I don't know anything. It was all set up with the travel agent. Can you tell me what car I was driving? I was like a silver Ford, maybe. And I believe maybe her name was something like Shh. And that was it. Like Shamira, something. He says, don't worry. I'll handle it.
Wow.
Let's get you checked in. I was like, and Allie's like, oh my God, what are you going to do? I said, babe, Bjorn said he's handling it. At this point, they come
if a guy named Bjorn says he's handling it, it's handled.
That's
dude, I literally, like, there was no stress. There was no nothing. They walked over simultaneously with 2 bottles or two wine glasses full of like some Moscato or something. Ryan, we drank. I was like, man, this is delicious. Let's go. Come on. She's like, we're just going to go to the room. I was like, hell yeah. We're going to go. We're going to go out to our room or go out to the beach and start ordering drinks. And like, it's on. So an hour later, we haven't heard anything, like getting ready to go, getting ready to walk out. Again, she's still like, man, what are we going to do? No worries. Get a phone call. Literally. Mr. Fore. I can't do an Aruban voice, but Mr. Fore, yes. Buzz, the bellhop, is bringing you your wallet right now. Literally. Track the lady down. Found it. Guess what's in the wallet? Everything. Right? Like, they called her this. I mean, no problem. It's like, yep, it happens.
I will throw this out there. That's the Ritz-Carlton, man.
Dude. I'm talking like, I couldn't even give this dude a legitimate, like, oh yeah, the business name was this, and this. And like, I gave him nothing. I was like, it was unbelievable. So I was like, Bjorn, me and you are best friends now. You tell me when you want to, and Buzz, the guy, one of the bellhops, literally took care of us every day. Last day, he knew that we wanted empanadas. Last day, we just couldn't find them. Like by the time we'd go out, places would be closed down, food trucks wouldn't be open yet. The guy literally went and picked up empanadas and delivered them to our room 4 hours before we got on our plane. We're like, are you shitting me? Like, it was just unbelievable. Wow. 10 out of 10. Couldn't believe it. The only thing that I'll say, like, it doesn't even matter when you're on your honeymoon or special events. Who cares about, when I say something's expensive, I don't care about $400 a night, like, right? $500 a night, right? Like that's just kind of what you pay sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. For a beautiful resort and everything else. But my problem of what I thought it was so expensive and it was killing me, there's a video on the interwebs that Ali put up where I'm shotgunning a beer. We shotgun a beer out there. Those 12-ounce Coors Light cans that are delicious in Aruba, just like they are in the States, same beer, same everything. Give me a guess, guys, right now. How much was that can of beer?
Well, you got to take into account the snowman's pay, and you got to drive to Texarkana. So
Smokey and the Bandit style. Well, I know in the 80s, my uncle went to Acapulco, and he said a 6-pack of Coke was $20.
Yeah, I would say $15 a beer for course.
Yeah, so it was not. God bless it, wasn't that bad. The mixed drinks were over $20. That can of Coors Light was $9.
Oh yeah,
sounds about right with inflation from the 80s.
$9 a can. So again, and there was no discount on a 6-pack. Right. Like, so, I mean, it was unbelievable. So the whole concept was very expensive, but you go off to another resort, you go to a restaurant, everything kind of comes down to $4, for a beer. Everything comes down to whatever else. So, it was literally just because we were at the Ritz-Carlton. Like, so funny, the buzz around the location, like 2 days before we left, I think someone said that 50 Cent, the rapper, if anybody doesn't know, him and his whole entourage was at the Ritz-Carlton. So like legitimate celebrities go there. That's where, so either way, it was amazing. Loved it. Couldn't imagine it anymore. So then we come home. This is one of the best part of the stories. I know I'm long-winding it right now, and I need to save my voice because there's going to be a lot of hype and talking tonight. But I get home. The house is still, looks like we did our best to kind of clean up a little bit, but it literally looks like a frat party from 2007 because it looks like some people had been drinking in it for 5 full days because we were. Because Kenny flew in on Wednesday, and the tribal meeting started. So I come home and I see, got mail and looking through bills and everything. I was like, oh, cool. Some stuff they ordered while we were on vacation. And then I see Mike Haspil sent something and like, thank you everybody for all the wedding gifts and everything. It was unbelievable. So I'm like, cool. Well, Haspil, I know has already, done a card and other things. So I said, man, that's so awesome, man. That's just always given. This is great. Open it up. Beautiful origami. Like,
yeah, my wife made like beautiful origami.
Dude, it's like literally, Allie and I had zero chance on getting that. We opened it and Bea was there and she's like, that's mine. Like, it's hanging up in her room. She's loaded the rows. Like this origami, I'm going to have to actually show it on the next show or something. Like we're talking like it's for anybody, driving and they can't see that I'm trying to make some distances with my hands. It's like, I would say a 2.5, 3 foot long strand with like 3 or 4 different things coming down it. Like it's beautiful. Right. So I'm like, man, digging through the box. And I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. Haspil got me a set of 4 Warhammer 40K shot glasses, Blood Angel Ultramarines. Man, that is awesome. And I saw it right, and I knew what this box was from a distance. So I was like, oh, let me go ahead and reach in there. I was like, this is mine. As I do, literally, this falls out. You see me? This dude literally iced me. My day covered. So Ali looked at me without missing a beat, looked at me and was like, man up. I know what you got off the plane. You got to drink that right now. And I was like, I cannot waste this. I have got to do this on air. I have to, whatever. So ladies and gentlemen, Haspil iced me. Shout out Penny, Haspil's wife. You guys got me. It
was Penny's idea in my defense.
That is amazing. So bottoms up. Here we go. Ice on it.
It's got to be like room temperature too. Brutal.
Yep. That was excuse me. I could have muted myself there. That was rough. But room temperature actually is one of the best right now because it's cold.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's true.
Yeah, it's cold around, so it's like it actually was not bad tasting. So shout out, bunch of fun. I don't know if anybody saw it too. Did you see that we got iced on the dance floor?
Oh yeah, on the dance floor. Yeah.
Allie and I got iced on the dance floor, dropped down to a knee, and banged him out. So what an absolute blast. Okay, unless you guys have something to add.
I do have something to add for the chat because George says Allie sounds like a keeper. I'm like, Allie mentioned Warhammer in her wedding vows.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much of a keeper she is.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Allie can she can put her foot down on some things and like, hey, we don't want to, just like women, and it's wonderful because she's so passionate, right? So she literally wrote her vows, like meticulous, did all this, but she wanted to keep the surprise because she wanted to throw in her vows. Literally, we wrote our own vows. So like, I mean, this is as serious it is. Like fucking, I'm crying like a baby. I'm just shaming my game, and so she wanted to make sure that people understood that she wanted this reaction. She's like, look, I'm going to bring up, being a gamer wife. Her vow was, quote unquote, I vow to be a gamer wife for life. And she literally, not only that, she created a thread with all the gamers on it from all across the country and was like, guys, and ladies, when I say this, it would mean the world to me, even though this is a serious time and we're all like emotional, whatever else. We want, the crowd to, the gamers to like unite and kind of yell. And it was like amazing. It was definitely amazing.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Did you actually get the shot glasses? Or did you
No.
just get ice?
No.
I have the shot glasses, and I'm showing them right now. This is the Dark Angels one, but I felt bad because like it was like a last minute thing. So Penny goes, "Hey, are you going to throw out that box?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "We should put a Smirnoff Ice in it." I was like, "That is legendary. We have to do
Yes,
that,
we
right?"
have to.
So then I felt bad after we mailed that. And I was just like, I can't like not give Juice shot glasses. I went back to Gamers Haven and they were sold out. So you are getting glasses, but they're not the shot glasses. They are like tumblers. They're
cool, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, but that is coming. I didn't just send you a cardboard box.
No, I mean, dude, let me tell you what, that origami itself, it was unbelievable.
Nice.
So
well, there's the story. So yeah, it was a great time. Awesome venue, and glad you had a good time at your honeymoon. That sounds pretty dope. I would have turned
absolutely.
red. I have two colors, red and white. Guess which one I am now?
No. Yeah, when I mean red, Robbie B, you don't get to come to Aruba and not be fully geared up. That sun is no joke. I didn't have ESP. I didn't have sunscreen of like 70 or less one time. And I literally fried myself. This sun, because you're so close to the equator, like Aruba is literally a stone's throw away from Venezuela. Like you're in South America, but so yeah, it was unbelievable. I actually can't wait. If anybody, matter of fact, I'm putting it out to the chat and anybody else. I'm absolutely, Allie and I were talking, we want to do like a huge vacation with a bunch of gamers and friends and everything else. Like we're going to put it in the works. Either this coming up November or next November, like it's going to happen in the next 2 years. So if anybody is interested in potentially wanting to do a vacation, the more the merrier. Literally, this is an open invitation. You guys know we're basically all best friends. We've had random people, watchers of the show. Literally, Clay Cruz is at my wedding and comes down because we send an invite out to, hey, if anybody wants to come play in a tournament, you're in the area, come crash with us. And he did, and we're really good friends now. So legitimately, you guys are more than welcome. Hit me up on Facebook. This is something in the next 18 months or so, it's going to happen. Okay.
Nice. All right. There it is. Y'all want to talk about some gaming?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so let's talk about Overwatch.
Overwatch
No,
is a
just
video
saying that
game
'cause-
by Blizzard Entertainment.
by Blizzard Entertainment. It is super tight. And they got this new chick on there named Ash, who's just completely awesome. The reason I'm saying that is because people in the chat are getting antsy and they want us to talk about chapter approved.
First off, Haspil, I've got to do it because we're real here. That's part of it. We're real with GW and we're real with our trolls and we're real with everything else. So I understand, my man, and I for some reason am holding back. I'm like, well, I won't call you out by name. It's like he wants us to kind of hurry up with what we're doing right now, kind of like the bullshit, and literally wants us to talk about 40K. And I love it. There was like 19 people who came in and was like, this is part of it. If you just want to listen,
This is the experience.
wait till it's on YouTube. Yeah, wait till it's on YouTube and fast forward.
Fast
whatever.
forward,
But yeah, and I love it. I have to shout out CPO. It literally says, my man just got married. He's excited to tell friends about this. Not just like Haspil and Rob, like as friends, but like you guys listening, like we don't even like the word fans here or anything else. Like y'all are our friends. When we walk up and you guys talk to us at Adepticons and stuff, we're like, oh, we love watching the show. We don't make anything for we're like, tell us about you. What is going on? Like you guys are our friends. So I love it that immediately the entire chat was like, you shut up. Shut up. This is funny. So either way, we are now. It is all done.
Yep.
We are ready to talk about everything that is 40K and Overwatch.
So again, just a quick reminder. Today we are going for extended period because there's a lot of content to talk about.
This is our X-Men annual double issue, double wide.
Double wide. Yeah, that's right. Longer and stronger. So let me record this time real quick and we're off. So Tabletop Market Watch this week, of course, coming out this week is chapter approved for $35. Vigilus for $50. The White Dwarf price was incorrect. It said $75, which would be really messed up because that would be more than the main rule book, I think. Those will both be hitting stores this week along with Marnius and what's his face? Harkon, the world claimer guy, man, for $35.
The World Ender.
The World Ender.
Can we call him? Can we call Primus or Primus the Marinius Calgar because he's in Primaris armor now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is so. His name is Primus. Can we go with that? Like
Marnius Prime.
Marnius. There it is. I knew
He's like a
Haspil
little brother to Optimus.
Prime is the man.
But there may be some slight delays this week. However, unfortunately, there was a lot of snow and ice in the south and a lot of things are behind, and GW apparently had some issues as well getting stuff out the door. So some stores might actually be getting their stuff late Friday or Saturday. So cut your stores a break. Just be aware that there might be a bit of delays out there actually getting this stuff in your hot little hands. But hopefully they get all that stuff figured out and the South shall thaw again.
We got a bunch of different ones in here that are really good. Primarnius Calgar. That's probably the best one.
That's where Calgar. I was trying to go with Primarnius.
Primarnius Calgar. That's probably the best one. And then Primaris Calgar. But Primarnius Calgar is the best one, I think.
Yeah, Primarnius Calgar. Wow, that guy's legendary.
Primarnius. I'm gonna have to write that down. Going on pre-order this week, just in time for Christmas. How about another 40K box set? What do you say? What do you say, guys?
Ooh, what's in it? Grey Knights and Dark Eldar?
The actual opposite of Grey Knights, Khorne and Slaanesh.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah.
Wow. Didn't see that coming.
Got them good. So the Wrath and Rapture that they've been previewing for, I guess, since October. So usually whenever they start actually putting videos out, we got about a 3-month time cycle until it actually hits. And you can kind of judge the rumor engines too, if you guys have ever noticed, because sometimes the pictures are black and white, but you can tell they're 3D printed because they 3D print them ahead of time, both to get the painters a head start, but also to get the masters and start, the casting process and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you can, and then if you see something that's already painted and it's in the rumor engine, chances are we're a lot closer. So like there's a little bit of indicators there when you're looking at the picture. Just try to make out the little print lines and stuff if you can. It's really interesting. It's like being CSI. So coming out this week, or at least going on pre-order, is that Noise Marine that also that everybody is all about.
They fell in love with the retroness.
I think so. He's
a baller.
He looks cool. I mean, he's got everything he needs. He's got the little guitar. He's got the high heels. You know, he's basically a Slaneshi Kiss rocker. You know, whatever.
Yep. Listening to Poison and Y&T and a bunch of hair metal.
I think people will buy him. He's $35 coming out pre-order this week. I don't know if it's limited. Stores, I guess, were told they could get, depending on how big a store you were, between like 5 and 10, from what I heard. So get your orders in quick.
Oh, he might be the highest selling individual model that they've done as a release in the history. Because really? He's not I honestly believe it, because he's not a captain with a plasma pistol that's going like this. He's not standing on this big ass rock, right? And he's got a sword captain standing on his skeleton. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a legitimate dude that you can put in your army. You know, you can have multiple of them in your sergeants and your squads. Like, I think this guy, even though in my opinion I don't like the retroness and like whatever, I have an opinion about it. That's not necessarily to agree with everyone else's, but he is. I can see the appeal of people who would love it. I think this guy is going to be sold out within a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Interesting. Bold prediction. I guess we'll find out. Like, if he's, I could see it. I mean, he's definitely, 30 years later, we get the guy, and he looks dope. And of course, he's standing on a Primaris helmet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat to see.
And it is pretty metal. That it's like you can't get much more 40K than a guy playing a guitar on a battlefield that causes people pain in Warhammer 40K. That's about as metal as you can get. It is pretty damn metal.
Also coming out, of course, is the Wrath and Rapture box. So that's going to have your new Karnak, your new Herald of Slanesh, also the new Fiends, and one more. Oh, the new Fleshhounds. So 4 new units in there. I guess it's 160 retail, and conservative estimates are putting the retail value at about $300, give or take what they price the Fiends at, because remember those Beasts of Nurgle with like the wacky wavy arms, and like their tentacles on the back of their heads do that. Mm-hmm. Those things were like $44 or something. Like, I was like, oh, okay. That I guess they're going to put those out single. So it really depends if they put the Fiends out single or not, I suppose, on their value there. But
I would only assume that they're going to come out in a 3-part sprue or a 3-part box, kind of like Custode Guard or the Custode jet bikes, that everybody turns them into the shield captains and stuff. But I think that would be, maybe the looking ahead.
Yeah.
The demon amp eater. That's exactly. I had 9 of them in a list one time. The old metal ones.
Well, either way, we'll find out very, very soon. As soon as they go on pre-order, I imagine within a year we'll see them available for separate release, and Slanesh will probably have a separate release. And Khorne, there'll probably be some sort of demon book or something like that coming out in the near future where they actually put those kits out separately. Because generally, they always put the single figures out separately at some point. Like, we're just seeing the Cryptek from Forgebane box individually. So it just really depends on how that all happens. But now that I think about it, if you think about the Forgebane box, remember the Armigers were in there and it was a 2-pack, and people were like, why is there 2 in there? And then they put out a 2-pack. So chances are the Fiends will be a 3-pack. Mm-hmm. I would think. But that is pretty much it for the Tabletop Market Watch.
I do have one thing.
Oh, go for it.
It's not 40K related. So you guys know I'm a big BattleTech fan. Mm-hmm. Online, BattleTech came out and this is actually like 2 weeks old now, I guess, came out with a DLC called Flashpoint. And if you like BattleTech, in my opinion, this Flashpoint game is what should have come out first. And then they should have had the campaign. This allows you to run your own mercenary company with no help from the Arano Restoration which is part of the campaign if you played the single player. And you just have to make ends meet, and it feels like Firefly with mechs, because you're taking jobs that some are illegal, some are not. You're taking piracy jobs, you're doing all kinds of stuff, and then interspersed with just you going around and taking all these missions, there are these things called flashpoints, and they are a set of thematic missions that go within one another, and sometimes you can't resupply in between, so you got to watch that AC-20 ammo. You gotta if your stuff gets destroyed or damaged in the first battle, it's still going to be damaged in the third. It is really, really good. And somebody's asking me in the chat if I'm having crash issues. I am not having any crash issues at all. It is running really sweet. They actually have it pretty well optimized from the initial release. So I would recommend that if you like BattleTech, the tabletop game or this computer game, you need to get Flashpoint. I'm back in it right now. I'd solved the game twice, once normally and once on Iron Man. I'm back on it. I'm back in it now. Wow. Every night I've actually set aside Sombra and Overwatch to play some BattleTech. So give that a look-see.
Well, I'm sure we'll see some more releases and stuff going into the holiday. I'm sure there'll be some sort of special thing after Christmas. And of course, there'll be all sorts of deals and things coming out after Christmas time as well. So keep your eyes peeled for all that stuff coming out here shortly. So I think we should probably jump into some chapter approved, talking about the meta, talking about what we think the new points drops will mean for a lot of different armies out there, and kind of get into that here, which I feel like a lot of folks want to get our take on it.
Yeah, I agree. Rob, do you have a point of where you want us to kick this shindig off at, or we can start? I've got Space Marines pulled up, or excuse me, I have specifically Space Marines pulled up. You want to? Yeah,
we could just kind of go, instead of, maybe running through the points cost, just kind of talk about like the high points and the low points,
Yep. And kind of like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Rob, didn't mean to cut you off, but like to kind of talk about something that we do is like, we're not first to market. There is other shows that have went down and have said, this model went up 20 points. This model went up 40 points. Like, we ain't going to do that here. We're going to, in the models that we talk about, and when we bring up Blood Angels, we're going to hit on kind of the high points of what things have changed and stuff like that. And ultimately, we want the full scope of what the meta is going to look like in 90 days and 60 days, because this chapter proved, in my opinion, is just as game-changing as any of the other ones that have come out, where, models can't fly for the FAQ in the assault phase. The points drops that these guys have been given, I think, is unbelievable. Units that aren't playable before are now. The Lord of Change dropping almost 100 points is 100% playable. Wraith Knights, 100% playable. They're like gallants. Scout Snipers, only 2 points a model playable. So like these are, those are just some of the high points, but, I'm excited to break down, even a little further. So Robbie B, tell us where we're starting.
Well, I think broad stroke, I'd like to make the statement that I think, and, definitely tell me where both of you agree. I think 40K had been becoming almost, the 40K wasn't in 40K, so to speak. And I touched on this briefly last week, when you were out, Juice, but 40K was just basically duders on the table, like duders fighting duders, and the occasional knight, and nothing else that really made it look like it was 40K. There's no narrative of 40K. And I feel like broad stroke wise, these changes now put the 40K back in 40K. You're going to see stuff like Gilliman. You're going to see stuff like, tanks. You're going to see more knights. You're going to see more demon princes. You're going to see the stuff that makes 40K back in the tables. Because that's inherently what this game is, and that's what brings the folks in, and that's what draws them in. And there was a time when War Machine, you didn't see War Machines in War Machine. You didn't see the X-Wing in X-Wing miniatures. That's not good for any any game. Like, you got to bring it back. You got to keep what makes it the game in there. And I think that's very important. So yeah, let's jump in with Space Marines and kind of see what we're talking here. So, it looks like I'll just broad stroke, and then y'all can kind of maybe pick apart some of the important points. Like, so for instance, Blood Angel, a lot of characters went down. Obviously, everybody knows that. Gabriel Seth didn't. I don't think he did. Dante went down to 175, which I think we had concluded he was unplayable at 215.
Still unplayable almost at 175.
I feel like he is too. Fiston went up to 160. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know you take him sometimes.
I take him a lot. He was actually made his way into the points. The points added up to where I could add him, into my list. But I want to tell you a little bit on why. Rob, too. Don't forget the camera. The reasoning why I don't know if he is necessarily an auto take at 160 points, and it's because of the fact that Storm Shields got cheaper for characters by 5 points. So a Banginius, right? I take 2 Banginiuses without Storm Shields and 1 with at this current juncture, right? So that's 114 for a guy without the Storm Shield, because I actually want that dude to die when I say that I want to swing twice, because CP are more of a commodity now. So I want to make sure that when I put him in a position to swing, then he dies, I get to swing again to get my full Monty attack. So for 114 points, a Banginius is unbelievable. But now you're telling me he's only 124 points and he gets a Storm Shield? That is just too good. So now there's a 36 almost point discrepancy between the two, when we're saying that Blood Angels are going to get allied with Guard and Knights or Custodes. That 36 points actually matters. So on a lot of my list, he has been removed away, but in a lot of mono build Blood Angels that I'm doing, right, or even just 2 build armies where it's maybe Blood Angels and Custodes or Blood Angels and Guard, he can actually make his way back in. But whenever I break into a major competitive list that does have 3 different factions, Knights, Blood Angels, and Guard, Mephi doesn't make the cut.
I got you. That definitely makes sense. It looks like, and this was a weird one. Sniper Scouts, sniper rifles got cut in points. Some of the stuff that people were taking still went down, and some of the stuff like Centurions that are down to like 40 points base that nobody took might actually get taken now. The Land Raider rumors were true. They did go down 60 points and 80 points, 40 and 60. And Dreadnoughts went down to 60 before weapons. I don't know. And Gilman went up to 400.
Did that really happen?
Yeah, Gilman's 400.
No, that's been before.
Was it? Right? Was it always 400? I thought it was 380.
Oh, maybe he did go up again. That is so crazy. I got to look right now. So either way, we're back to the Gilman going up a little bit. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's 450 points. The dude is still good. So I don't want to go too far down that tangent, because I'm going to be a naysayer of why some people don't like something in this thing, but I'm going to hang on to that. I do want to talk about Ultramarines. Bobby G list is going to be a number 1 army coming back to the scene in a huge way. I believe that it was going to be big anyway. I know Haspil, we talked about it some, and Rob, we talked about it when the new big FAQ came out and gave everybody the stratagem to take cover. So now everybody gets a +1 of their save. So now parking lots were one of the things that we felt like really took a bonus to that, because toughness 7 vehicles that have a 2 of armor save, aka Razorbacks and all those things as fire platforms, are now 100% better because they're more durable. Now you're telling me Bobby G gets sniper rifles all around him at a reduced cost, right? Now you're telling me that units like Centurions, I'm a huge fan of Centurions. I think they're amazing. Rob, did you know that the points cost that they went down from what they were before is the same amount as for a squad of 3 is the same amount as a free drop pod now? That's what a drop pod 63 points now.
Huh.
So come to find out,
How about that?
right, within a few points, if you wanted to run Centurions, you own Centurions, we all do, because they were really good in 6th and 7th edition.
Yep.
Come to find out, you're the same point cost. Your stat line just says, I have a free drop pod. Right? Tell me that doesn't suck.
No, that's good. And it's a great way to deliver them right next to people and stuff. Obviously not turn 1 anymore, but that's okay.
Sure.
It's all about the long game.
That's right. The key point right there. The game isn't won or lost on turn 1. Excuse me. The game isn't won on turn 1, right?
No.
Like, you're not going to go. But there is sometimes you can lose a game on turn 1, right? Like, if that makes sense for people, like, you are not going to jump ahead and like just truly do something so egregious with Centurions on turn 1. But they absolutely can win you the game if you reserve them and don't bring them until turn 3 once the war of attrition has come in and these guys come in big dick bandit style. So, and I like their point costs at only around 260 points, or excuse me, 240 points, fully kitted out the way that I want them, deep striking in. I am absolutely with this because it's just like when I play Genestealer Cult. I bring in a squad of Genestealer. I save pure strain Genestealers till turn 3, no matter how bad sometimes the battle is getting. I wait until turn 3 to bring these guys in, specifically because I want to try to deal with all the threats that can kill them, and then I still have a full-on unit that can chew people up and kind of drop in where I need. So I'm with them.
Okay, I do want to talk about the Vigilus Guard too, because I think that's very important that they can go with any character that just would take up an elite slot. But out of curiosity, what is your build for the Centurions? Because obviously everybody's are built with the Grav Amp and the
Sure.
Grav Cannon, right?
I absolutely believe that that's still something that can come to fruition. I don't think that you need to rip all your guys' arms off and put las cannons or missile launchers or heavy bolters or anything else like that. I don't think you need to go that far right now. I think that, or hurricane bolters is the other one I was trying to say. But I believe that Grav Amps and what is it? The chest weapon is the single set of hurricane bolters. I think that's still going to be one of the best platforms, especially if you're talking about that you're going to pair it with Bobby G re-rolling everything. I'm definitely going to want Grav Amps, considering vehicles are a thing. Heavy infantry, medium level infantry are coming back. That's where I'm at, right? So I don't care about really as many las cannons. I don't care about this. I want, for a Space Marine army, I want medium infantry, 2 up armor save dudes, 3 up armor saves. I want to be able to chew through those guys.
So it looks like for drop pods, you can't actually take Centurions. They cannot transport Jump Pack, Terminator, Primaris, or Centurion models.
Well, there it is. So either way, you still just got cheaper. I knew that they got around 60 points cheaper. You know what I mean? So Centurions, you're still going to have to infiltrate. You're still going to have to just slowly move up the board.
Which you had to before anyways.
Yeah.
It's like, what are they going to shoot at? You just threat overload them.
Sure.
What do you think of the Vigilus Guard? Like, as far as the rules there go? Let me pull them up real quick. But I think in essence, they are basically 20 or 24 points with a Storm Shield. Power Weapon Storm Shield. They can tank the wounds on a 2-up, similar for an independent character, similar to the Death Guard, sure. Death Shroud. And they are a squad themselves, but if you take them for Primarnius, he keeps them off the Force org chart. But you could take them and put them next to Robbie G, and he would be able to, benefit from their ability. The problem is they're a unit at that point and they can be shot. So I feel like you're going to have to protect them inside of a transport, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. No, they're Primaris now, aren't they? Geez.
I'm not going to lie. I don't like these guys.
Really?
I don't like them. Yeah, I don't like them as shields and all that stuff anyway. Like, my thing is this is 8th edition. If you want to keep a character alive, you can just do it. Right? Shy of snipers and things like that, like, characters aren't getting sniped out like they used to back in the day because they can't be targeted. Mm-hmm. Bobby G cannot be targeted. I like Vanguards and other guys like that. Like, I love Death Watch with 2-point Storm Shields with veterans thrown in and stuff. Like, I am with sprinkling in a shit ton of Storm Shields everywhere. And it's not going to be groundbreaking. it's not going to be like, oh my God, I'm tabling fools with storm shields, because at the end of the day, I'm still just going to shoot you a shit ton and you're going to roll ones and twos, But I do believe in the age of gallants, in the age of guys with big, maybe you got to make 6 saves. Right? Maybe it's from a Castellan or it's from a Manicore or something like that. I think that's where Storm Shields will make pay dirt for Space Marines. But at the end of the day, most Space Marines, we all know, die to assault cannons. They die to las guns. They die to storm bolters, because people will make you pick up 11 dice. And regardless, you're going to lose 4.6 of them, so.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to something I think Haspil can get behind, the boys from Titan.
Yeah. I saw some interesting things there. The standout that one of the things I did not like is there was no change to your base Grey Knight.
Indeed.
Like, that was actually kind of shocking, dude.
Yeah, so they're still overcosted. Your base strike squad, normal run-in-the-mill Grey Knight is still way overcosted. So that's not going to change, and that's the core of your army, so that's not going to change a whole lot. The Termies I thought were good. The one that jumped out at me were the Land Raiders. The Land Raider Redeemer, especially. I was just like, dang, dude. Like, I'm like, good thing my Land Raider is magnetized.
A Land Raider Redeemer was my favorite in 5th edition. I think that this guy is going to see a resurgence. I think that you're going to be able to see, I think people are going to build lists of, so you're telling me for 4, 8, 16, 24, 32, 720 points, you can have 3 Land Raider Redeemers?
Yeah.
I don't know what the rest of the list looks like. I don't know this, but if you want to go in ATC style denial army, if you're going up against hordes, let me tell you how tough it's going to be to kill those 3 Land Raiders. Like, I do like it. You will have to put something in it. There will have to be some offense. Like, I could, and not to, for anybody who's rolling their eyes, like you said, or something, like I could build 10 lists that'll pick up 3 Land Raiders. Like, it's not that, but like at 180 points, the mother trucker has play. He's a toughness 8 vehicle, with quality wounds, with quality firepower. 180 points is a steal, no matter how you cut it.
Mm-hmm.
The Dread Knight, I think, the Dread Knight Grandmaster and those guys, I think those are the ones that are still the show, right?
I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced with a limit of 3, and they're a lot of the stuff that they were great at, that they were good at. Now the game has taken away the whole, like, hey, I'm going to drop this dude in on turn 1 assault and use my stratagem to reroll assaults to make sure I get you. That kind of thing. Well, that's not a thing anymore. The actual game rules have changed. And I haven't heard of any updates to their stuff. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm on the fence on that. Like I said, the 2 things I was looking for, which were geared towards my list, were, did the strike squads get a points drop? And it's like, no. Sure. So now you're pushing me towards like interceptors, and not even, and I don't want to run interceptors. Like, I don't think they're that good. You know what I mean? So they used to be pretty cool, but now I'm like, I don't know. And then, what's the other one?
Drago went down, of course.
Well, Drago, that is huge. That is actually really big, because I feel like my Drago is going to have a golden best friend. Trajan Valoris that might be deep striking in with him. You know what I mean? But purifiers came down quite a bit. But I have to see. I guess I have to see the rules, like, because purifiers were kind of cool before 8th. They were great. You know what I mean? Back in 5th, I ran 42 purifiers.
Yeah, I'm 5th broken for sure.
Every purifier in the Grey Knight chapter was in my list. But yeah, I'm still on the fence. I mean, I repainted, granted, it's only like 1 shoulder pad and a helmet, but I repainted all my purifiers to be strike squads as soon as 8th dropped, because they were no good. So And somebody in the chat pointed out, it's not just strike squads that are overcosted. It's at anybody in tactical power armor.
Yeah, I think we have a overarching need to fix 3-up saves, because when there's so much neg 1 out there, a 3-up ain't what it used to be, boys.
No, you're exactly right, and that's the thing. Now, just looking at the Grey Knights in specific, I like the fact that the heavy psi cannon, the psi cannon itself did come down by half. A psi cannon is only a 7-point upgrade now.
Yeah.
Huge.
That is massive. So the actual bodies didn't get cheaper, right? But now if you do put 4, psi cannons in a purgation squad, if you're running a purgation squad, right, which was one of my favorite units, like that unit just got 28 points cheaper. So, that is something positive. It is a big stick up the ass that, your base troop choice didn't get affected at all, and I kind of wish it did. But I do think there's some nuggets in there, considering that they can put down a ridiculous amount of firepower still. The psi cannon, the silencer, I wish it would have come down a little bit more, because that was another weapon that's specific to the Grey Knights. But all in all, how would you feel? Does it make you, do these point costs at all, Haspil, someone who moves away from the game, if you had time, hypothetically? Like, would you look at this and say, hey, it's cool enough to bring my Grey Knights back?
Yes, for your Friday night FLGS game. No, for a tournament.
And now, so this is great. This is great insight. Now, would you play at your local Friday night store? Would you play your Grey Knights before this points drops? Or would you play another one?
They haven't even been out of their case since Adepticon.
There you go.
Okay, so this is groundbreaking, and if nothing else, Grey Knight players, hold your head on this. And Haspil, I agree with you 1,000%. I do believe that you will see Grey Knights at local RTTs, on Wednesday nights at your local game stores or whatever local night that is. I think Grey Knights will see a little bit more of a comeback, but you hit it on the head. They are nowhere near competitive play. No. You're setting yourself up potentially for failure by doing it.
I will say that silver and gold go well together.
Sure.
And silver and gold and black go even better together.
I see what you did there.
I might be working on that list right
Yes,
now.
Sir. I know a lot of people who are. There's watch.
So
either way, sorry, Rob.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say one thing real quick about the Grey Knights. Like, I think some people are still on the fence, and I'm not sure if it's been said one way or the other. I haven't been following along with all the other content that's out there, because we cover a lot of ground every day. But the changes to Smite, I haven't personally seen them. I can't confirm them yet, so that would be good to know either way. As soon as we get the book in our,
you know what I expect? I don't expect the whole army to get normal Smite. And honestly, most Grey Knight players that I would know, I'm going to speak for all Grey Knight players here.
Oh, okay.
I think we would be happy if the entire army didn't get Smite and our HQs got the normal Smite, so that a Grey Knight librarian or a brother captain got the real change, like got the real Smite instead of
damn it, Drago.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Our HQs, give our HQs real Smite. You know what I mean? And then the rest of the army, keep the stupid Smite. It's like, I don't think it's going to change. That's just me. I think that was a wish listing on the part of Grey Knights and Thousand Suns people. I don't think it's actually going to happen. Yeah, because think about how broken Grey Knights get then. You know what I mean? If every single squad can cast Smite, it's worse than Decimators. I can just sit there and just be like, aced.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to even see, as far as like, I don't know if people understand how badass Drago is. The dude lived in the Ward for what, 10,000 years?
Forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, that was a legitimate thing. Like, why doesn't this dude do a D6 smite? And his super smite is 2D6 like Magnus. Like, I believe it should be even to that level, that much respect. But I think that is very reasonable for you to say, Haspil. The entire army having D3 smite, so all damn, all you would see, and you already see the writing on the wall, Haspil, that it would be 12 MSU units, 5-man guys, with the intent of drop pods, and you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to do 22 smites, or something like that, right? Like,
the Death Blossom. Yeah, it was an early rumor. Obviously, it looks like it's been confirmed that is not the case. There are data sheets in there. There's a bunch of pages of data sheets, but that isn't in them. So that's good to know. So we got AdMech up next. It looks like some big changes to some units. I mean, Call went down. I think overall that Forge World's probably still good, still the best.
Call at a 50-point decrease is game-changing for anybody who thought about playing him. And, Rob, the reason why I want to stop real quick and talk about Call at 190, remember we talked about Dante at 175?
Yeah.
We're not in the same ballpark.
No.
Call versus Dante for 15 points more. Like, this is why I don't believe Dante's there. I believe Call at 190 is a steal. I am just drooling at the bit if there was ever a format of GW that's, or a tournament that said, release the Hounds again and characters can join characters and do all this, because there is a super team of Call, Drago, Bobby G, Bane Guineas, and all these guys. You could put the entire Avengers team plus Avengers 1, 2, and 3 team together for like 2,200 points. These characters are ridiculously cheap, in my opinion.
So is there a reason not to run the Mars Forge World and run a different one? I just can't see it, not with all the points reductions. I mean, unless you're trying to do something specific.
Yeah, unless you have a trick, unless you have a Death Blossom attack, right? So, like, being able to rapid fire at a larger distance is quality. I can still build if you do want. This army does have, this faction does have the ability to get an extra -1 to hit across the entire units. That is massive if you go second. If you build an army to go second and you pair a -1 to hit board wide +1 to their save. That's strong as shit, so like I can see it, but I think you're on the right path of like Mars might just be the best. But considering that the Styges one did get hit, that was like the other one in contention, if I'm not mistaken, with Mars because of the Dragoons, being able to infiltrate and pop up when you can't do that anymore. So, but there is some maybe play for another, but I don't know. Like, you're probably right. At a 50-point decrease in Call, he's just, if it was close, it just teetered in their favor now.
Well, I would say you need at least a detachment with Call. You can have other Forge World detachments, but it seems like he would be the best.
Sure.
But yeah, regardless, I think we can all say that AdMechs could be some players. They could be coming to the party now. Next up, Tyranids.
So, oh my goodness. Wow. I've got my AdMech. Hold on one second. I want to go back to AdMech real quick. Because of the fact the breachers are now from 30 points to 20 points. And I just wanted to confirm, Rob, do you have the weapons list pulled up there for the breachers? So it is. They just did the breachers. They didn't do the Cataphon destroyers.
No, they didn't. I don't think they did the destroyers. Let me double check.
Okay, cool. Because in my opinion, the breacher was the lesser anyway.
Oh wait,
so maybe
destroyers did go down. It looks like
Cataphon destroyers did go down.
Yes.
So they went down from 30 points to 15 points.
15, that's what I'm seeing.
Dear sweet Jesus. Okay, so while you're there, do you see any of the war gear? Did the heavy graph cannon go down in points also?
I don't think they did that, but hold on, let me try to find it.
Okay, cool. The reason why this is really important, guys, is because right now I think a Cataphon destroyer was running in at like 52 points, somewhere in that, 48 points.
What is it, the heavy what?
It's the heavy graph cannon.
All right.
Or even the plasma culver. I would like to see if either one of those.
Plasma culver is 11. Heavy arc rifle? No, that's not it.
No, so the heavy arc rifle is the one from the breachers. Did that go down?
I can't tell. It says 11 points.
Okay, I'll tell you right now.
16.
The plasma culver was what is a plasma culver?
11. Oh, excuse me.
Wow.
It's 11 now, yeah.
Culver or Culverin? Jesus.
Calver. Calver. Calver.
Okay, so that is the plasma Calver. That is the one that the basic troop choices can have.
Yeah, I don't think there was a reduction to the one you're talking about.
Okay, so yeah, so the grav now, the heavy grav cannon is 30, and so they went down. So it's 45 points versus 50. I don't know if it's enough. My goal was I really wanted destroyers, Cadillac destroyers. We dubbed, if anybody didn't know at the point in time, Cataphrine destroyers. We dubbed them years ago as Cadillac destroyers. I was really hoping we were going to see them come back in full force, but still at 45 points a model. 45 points a model, I still think I'll just take a Centurion, right? Like if I'm going to go down that path. But either way, okay, cool.
So Tyranids.
Tyranids.
Big chunks, big changes. Where are they at now?
My good God, my brain is blown right now. So, Haspil, how happy would you are that Drago went down? Well, Swarm Lord went down 50 points.
And Broody.
A massive change. Haspil, you ready for this one? The Brood Lord for Tyranids was 162 points, right? And he had a strength 5 instead of strength 6, base profile. Genestealer Cult, Brood Lord, was 150 points at strength 6. So this guy is 15 points cheaper for Genestealer Cult, and he's a higher strength. It's unbelievable to me. So 162 points. I think I was the only person in the universe who was actually playing a Broodlord because I did want that bubble of +1 to hit for my Genestealers because I was running so many of them. Haspil, this dude went from 162 points to 115.
Wow.
115 points. I am mind blown by that. That is, matter of fact, Austin A-Dog, we were talking this morning, and I believe this guy might be the one. So he went down by 36 points, somewhere in that change. The Neuranthrope, who was the obvious go-to choice for 70 points, is now 90. Well, we were talking this morning. It's not even a decision anymore. You just spend the extra 25 points, and you get a Broodlord. Right? Like this guy, a Broodlord, is actually really quality. He's got a psychic ability. He can hide. He gives your Genestealers buffs. He is going to be cracking. Like that is a major change for nids everywhere.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff in here. I mean, even Tyranid Prime, like you like to run.
Sure. So I mean, I have a million points I want to talk about on this. For any nid players out there, this segment is going to be really, really great for you guys. All nid factions just got better. Rob, remember you just asked what other Forge World is there for Adeptus? Is it just, for AdMech, is it just Mars? And it's like, yeah, probably just Mars. Well, let me tell you, nids with as many points decreases across the entire board from small models to big models. There is so I can build lists right now for every different hive fleet. Literally give me Kronos. Exocrines are 170 points. That is unbelievable. Tyrannicides are 182 points. That guy went down I think it was 235 with acid spray before. The guy shoots 2d6 shots at automatic hits, multiple damage, quality AP, good strength, like on a toughness 8 platform with good wounds. Give me Yermagunder with acid sprays. Now they're walking around with a 2 of armor set. So there's an entire Yermagunder build that I can build with big guys. There's an entire Kraken has just gotten better because Swarmlord went down, Broodlords went down in price, right? But furthermore, you ready for this? One of my other favorite ones and sleepers out of this book are Lictors went down to 30 points a model. 30 points. So there's an entire detachment, and I wish Sean was on. I know we're going to be talking about it over at Patreon.com/Battle Brother, where Sean and I are going to break down this a little bit more in details on exactly what both of us love. And he obviously created Lictor Shame and was stomping people. For anybody who doesn't know, you got to talk to Sean and find out exactly what that is. But 30 points, 90 points for 3 lictors is, in my opinion, amazing. And you know what I like them with? I like them with Behemoth. Give me my reroll charge distances now, because I can put 9 lictors pop up with Death Leaper, right? Or excuse me, not Behemoth, because they already lictors inherently reroll charge distances. There was I had a high fleet that'll come back to me that I specifically wanted to pair with them because Jormungandr as well, because they have chameleon scales, so they get +1 in their cover save. They count as being in cover even if in the open, right? So it'll pair with Jormungandr, and chameleon scales will stack. So now you're telling me I'm down to run 9 of them and they're -2 to hit, and if I have the Death Leaver, he's -3 to hit. You know, if I decide to just pop up and be around you, you know, I'm really enjoying a lot of what they have to do. The weapons, quality weapons that people got. Trigon claws went from 60 points to 40 points. I'm an absolute fan of all the Trigons and Trigon Primes and all that kind of stuff. So he is an absolute beast. I don't know if he makes the cut still, because I would just rather probably just take what he can do in close combat. I'd probably just rather take an Exocrine, and he can do it from range because he can shoot twice. But you will see variety coming in all aspects of Hive Tyrant, of Nidless, except Flyers. Don't ever let anybody tell you Hive Tyrant's good.
No, they're
and a Malinceptor. How did tell me this? An Exocrine who was potentially good anyway, he was just over point costed, went down like almost 40 something points. But a Malinceptor who was absolute shit from the beginning, how did he only go down 12 points? They could have dropped a Malinceptor 90 points and he probably still isn't playable. So I just love their scale here.
Hey, Ash Sunday just gave us a donation. Says, "Love you guys, Miss Juice. Is the Castellan still worth taking?" Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Can I start this rant? Ash, first off, thank you so much. And you know that means when you donate during the live show, that means we stop what we're talking about and you get your question answered right away. Brother, ready for this? This is why I'm gonna spoil a little bit of what I'm gonna go in once we get to the cast space range. I don't care, as if I'm gonna play cast space range, I don't care that the cultist went up a point.
No, I think you meant Castellan.
No, I know. But I'm prefacing the conversation by saying I don't care about that because I am building I have 3 lists right now on Battlescry on my phone that I build them saying that my Castellan is going to be 700 points. He's that powerful. A Castellan is that damn good. Austin and I started talking and we're like, what else could you get for 700 points? You could just get 2 more gallons. You could get 3 company commander, tank commander, with executioners, right? Plus a Hydra, plus other things for the same point cost as a Castellan at 700 points. I don't care. The Castellan is that damn powerful. He has a 3 up invulnerable save. Absolutely. Anything more than 700 points, he might not be playable. I might push my limit to like 735. But anything more than that, I got to come off of him. But absolutely, if he stays the same at 600, it's, in my opinion, still broken. Or he does need to go up. Maybe he doesn't go up a full 125 to get to that 730-ish range. But I would really be happy at 680, something like that. But just so everybody understands, that guy is that good. So that's why I'm down on that dude, is the points that he is. When something is really good, just because it goes up in points doesn't mean people are going to stop playing it. It's still fucking good. So, yes, Ash, if you have a Castellan, you're doing all right, homie. We're holding strong at 100 points. He's still in every one of my lists.
No, that's the truth. And I think it's a trend. Like, what is up with that?
Unbelievable that the guardsman went down to, a veteran went down to 5 points. That is, wow.
Yeah.
Solid. And every one of the weapons went down.
That made me smile, I'll tell you that. Because my little guard contingent is all, it's all made of the old Inquisition troopers.
Oh, sick.
The Castrican guys.
Yeah,
And I run them as veterans. So I was like, noted and logged.
Yes. And that means every weapon that those guys have, you don't worry about playing now and thinking that you're having to pay this tax because plasma guns went down, melta guns went down, hot shot las, missile launcher, heavy weapons teams, missile launchers are cheaper. Like there is across the board price points reductions. It is unbelievable. My opinion, Guard might be one of the single best victors of this Hunger Game because they were damn good anyway. Mm-hmm. Now there is so many things that they've just gotten better. The single point leader, in my opinion, is the tank commander. Right? That Absolutely. Dude dropped like 35 points. He's 190-ish points. Plasma Q shit out. Right? So like plasma side sponsons, either the Punisher or the plasma executioner up top and a las cannon as pintle mounted. These cats issuing orders, doing things like that, under 200 points each, a steal. An absolute steal. Now, before there was no question. If you took Cadian, you took Pask. Period. You didn't take, if you were only going to take one, you were going to spend the extra 15 points and take Pask. Now, Robbie B, if I'm not mistaken, Pask didn't get a points decrease.
Not that I noticed. I'll go back up to the top and take a look.
Now, Pask did get a points decrease in his weapons, yes. Right? So he will be a few points cheaper, but he didn't get just the title decrease, or did he? This is a good question because you take a company command, you take a tank commander, and then you upgrade him to Pask. So did the profile get cheaper, and then you pay the upgrade from that profile?
That's a good point because the tank commander is now 142, does not include war gear. Let's see. I'll pull it up right here.
So that's the main thing is going to be, and I haven't looked at it in a while, is Pask war gear. So why Robbie B is looking at that, Robbie B also sparked, I think, a great point.
He's his own entry.
So there it is. He isn't. So there is a huge gap now. So there's almost a 56 point gap between a executioner style kitted out tank commander and a executioner style Pask. So that might be, he might not be that auto include anymore. For all he's giving you extra is +1 to hit. He's hitting on, 2s potentially. So I don't know. It might not be worth those 50 points, especially in a Guard army where points, everybody can have upgrades. And it's not like NIDS, something where there's no upgrades really. Like every one of your units you can go Infinite on. Sorry guys, what?
Well, I have found when I was running Pask, a lot of times I just don't, I don't even see, I don't even use the second order because he can actually order. A lot of times I don't even use the second order. So maybe there's some truth in that. I'll have to play test it out. The epic troll with the Artemis Hellhound cannon going up, the Inferno cannon. Basically, you just take it you just take it out. Well, no, do you take the Hellhound or do you just not bother? Because it still blows up on a 4. It still does the extra damage. What do you do?
No, a Hellhound doesn't blow up on a 4.
The Artemis one does.
The Artemis pattern does, yeah.
It's basically the same points now.
Sure. So no. So the big differences between the Artemis pattern and the knob, right, is the actual flame weapon itself. An actual Hellhound is 2d6 versus the Artemis pattern, which is roll 2d6 and pick the highest. One blows up, the normal Hellhound blows up on a 6, and then the Artemis blows up on a 4. If you're telling me we're the same point cost, I am going to go with the original Hellhound. I'm going to go with 2d6 total shots. And because I've been the sucker end, I've blown up with my Artemis pattern Hellhounds on some pools, and it's been glorious. And then simultaneously, I have not, and it has been terrible for me. Or I make a play because I'm saving CP to re-roll it if I don't blow up. And then literally this trick that I wanted to do, which was a CP drain at this point, failed because, I couldn't roll a 4 up out of 2 dice. So I think if that option isn't on the table, I think I do go back to just saying I like regular Hellhounds if they're the same point cost.
Absolutely.
So, but I mean, I do just want to reiterate, Guard is literally going to be a absolute Tyrannosaurus Solo guard is back in full force. Anybody, the loyal 32 or the loyal, 37, depending on how many mortars you had. That is not the only guard you're going to see anymore. There's actually a lot of cases and stuff, because I'm still building lists where the Castellan isn't in the army anymore, and I'm just taking Blood Angels and Guard. And that list looks unbelievable. Do you know how many Manicores, Wyverns, and all that stuff that you can get for 1,000 or 1,300 points, which is my Knight detachment?
Yeah, and then what do you shoot when the enemy shoots you? Obviously, you either shoot the Castellan, you deal with the Castellan, or you ignore the Castellan. But when you have that whole backfield full of things and no way to get there and touch them and make them fall back because they can't shoot, what do you start with? I shoot a Basilisk. There's 2 more. I shoot a Manicore. Yeah. There's 2 more.
The positive about that style of a list, and Guard aren't the only ones that can do it, but basically you build a list around saying no matter what you shoot and kill, you're never going to come off more than 110 points. I don't care what unit you decide to shoot at, you'll never get more than 110, right? So where somebody has like a Castellan and a big volcano cannon or this and that, right? You're just like, whatever, bro, like you do what you will. Maybe you don't actually kill me because dice didn't go in your favor, and you didn't even kill a Basilisk, versus dumping all your firepower into a Castellan or a Night Titan or something like that, where, the choice has been made for your opponent. I have to do this.
Yep, absolutely. So, I mean, long story short, I think everybody knows that we'll be seeing a lot more Guard on the tabletop and a lot less of the way we used to see it going forward.
Actually, Rob, I want to go down the same path with Guard. You asked an amazing question. I think we could do it going forward. Do we think Cadian and Catachan are going to be the only 2 chapters that we see? Or things? And I have to think absolutely not. I think Mordian is going to come in a major fashion. And the reason why I say this is because they can issue an order and shoot characters.
Yeah.
And you're telling me now in Haspil style Kurskin, or however you describe those guys, Castricans. Now you're saying, like, if you want to build an entire units, and if all of a sudden those dudes are Mordian and they are kitted out with all the weapons and they hop out of a transport, that got cheaper. They hopped out of a Torox or out of a, whatever else, or, they're the ones that deep strike, whatever those guys are called, Scions. You deep strike those fools, right? All the plasma guns that you're shooting, cheaper.
Yep.
All the mounted guns, cheaper. So sniping out all these characters are a legitimate thing now, and you get to do it at a wholesale cheaper point cost. And last one that I'll go on is where come vehicles? Because there is going to be a armored company back in full force. I believe that always being able to act at your top tier is going to be huge. And that is the Steel Legion. Is it Steel Legion?
Yeah, they're the ones that can do stuff in the transports and
right. So like that is massive. So anybody who's been like just kind of sitting on their Steel Legion shit, like, man, this stuff looks cool, but I guess I'll just play it as Cadian today. Like that's not a thing anymore, because I really believe that your tank commanders always being able, no matter if they're gimped, no matter if they have 1 wound or whatever, you're always being able to shoot at your highest one is amazing. So there is a lot to see coming out of Guard.
Well, let's move on to the next one, which is Necrons.
So when
meat sacks,
when Juice said that, what would I take down to the store? Would I take Grey Knights? Yes, I would. But who am I going to bring down to the store? Necrons.
Oh,
that's my 2019 army, and I'm really glad I didn't sell them on eBay.
Awesome, dude! This makes me happy. Haspil, why?
Because the way I run them with a lot of Ghost Arcs, Illuminor, Zeros, stuff like that, all these costs came down so much that I'm like, I can effectively run Horde Necrons. I mean, they're 11 points now. The heavy destroyers are cheap. Doomsday Arcs, everything came down. Everything in my list that I cared about came down by a lot. Not just like, I mean, yeah, the regular warriors came down by 1 point, but I mean, the Doomsday are, I mean, the Night Sides are back to what they were in like 5th edition.
Sure. Yeah. A Doom Scythe. Wow. Dropped 55 points. So, Haspil, this is awesome. Some people's army, when they say like, oh, they didn't get that much better, or my army didn't really change because they were only using a couple units out of their entire 2,000 points that were affected by this point decrease. Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh, cool, I just gained 50 points. Or, oh, cool, I gained, 110. But it sounds like, Haspil, the entire way that you were running your army, you almost every unit dropped 1 to 7 points. So you're saying army wide, you potentially just gained 350 points.
Almost, yeah. That's close. That's huge. Close because I run like Illuminor Xeros, Vargard. I don't run Oberon, but I run sometimes Trizin, but Illuminor Xeros dropped, 23 points. So just right there, you're just like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And then when you just start looking at like the other guys that I run, because I basically just bog people down. That's my, I don't run, I have wraiths, but I don't run them. I don't run, I basically just run like regular warriors with a couple squads of immortals, two Doomsday Arcs. You know what I mean? The Doomsday Arc right there, 33 points each.
Huge.
Right? Yeah. And then I run dedicated transports of Ghost Arcs because with vehicle arcs not mattering anymore, as soon as 8th dropped, I was like, this Ghost Arc is unbelievable. I just use them as gates. I put them right in front of my guys because they fly. So they screen to prevent my dudes from being assaulted, and they can fly away and then shoot you with 20 shots. It's ridiculous.
I mean, if you think about it, if your list is affected and you've saved 280-ish, 300 points, you literally just added a squad of 6 heavy destroyers into your army for free.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now, I will say I still think that they're hampered too much we're not going to see these guys on the top tables. We're not going to see tournament wise. I don't think there's that big a change, but for playing for fun and showing up at the friendly local game store, your 40K night, I think these are solid. But they are, and the thing is, they fit my play style. I like mono builds. Necrons have to be a mono build.
Yes,
so
that's true.
So it fits my play style, so it may not be for everybody, but for me, I saw this and went, well, Necrons are going to be the ones that I bring down to the store all the time, with other lists, I'm sure my sisters will come out and play as soon as that book drops. I'll just be like, yeah, But I thought the points drops on that were really cool. The monolith, massive points cost. Oh, yeah. I never run it, but massive point cost. Point drop rather.
Yeah, I don't know if he is still playable in more than one faction, but he is. Anything that gets a 50 point plus decrease is got to be in contention to say, wow, that's. I don't even know if it fixes it, but thank you, GW, for trying.
Yeah. It's frankly, it's kind of cool. And it's the other stuff that I saw on there. Yeah, they went down, but I was just like, they didn't go down enough for me to give up other stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Annihilation barges, stuff like that. I was like, oh, that went down. So I used to run a ton of those, but I'm like, I'll stick with my Doomsday Arcs. Thanks. They do in 8th edition without any, they do far more than anything else.
I like the fact that the Transcendent Satan did go up and needed to.
Yeah,
and it needed to because, now the 60 points that it did go up doesn't seem like much or whatever. But when people were running 3 of them, now that's 180 points. You actually don't have enough to fill a 4-sword slot of a battalion. So that's big, right? So, and that list wasn't even fun. It wasn't even like it would win major tournaments or do anything else. It just, it literally, you'll see it at ATC and those style lists because it's denial, and that's a different animal. It's cool there, but like that army just isn't fun for anyone because it doesn't allow you to interact in the game. The offense that it does, literally, there's no psychic check that you can stop. There's no nothing. It just says you die. You die.
Yeah.
Here's the number that you die by. So.
And it didn't fix unless there's some rules that we don't know. the Necrons' biggest hurdle in this edition has been lack of a psychic phase. They're not participating in an entire phase of the game. They're just getting owned, right? So that has been their weak link in 8th, and I don't see that changing. So that's why I'm like, no, it's going to be fun, but I don't think competitive-wise we're going to see a big change in Necrons.
Well, that probably also is true for the Eldar. That I think we can all agree perhaps that the Wraith Knight is of note, but what are you thinking on these guys? Because obviously they're basically at the top of the meta.
Yeah, top of the meta. So strange to me that a Dark Reaver didn't change moving points at all. Unbelievable. And Rob, will you do me a favor? Will you see if their launcher, moved in price at all? Because maybe they didn't change their base point cost because their war gear might have went up.
Well, you'll find this shocking, but I don't actually own the Eldar Codex, so
okay.
I can tell you what it. Well, I guess it would change if it was in the list, huh? Let's see. If it's on the sheet here, or
if it's not on there, while you're looking for it, if those didn't change, it's kind of disappointing just because it was the glaring unit that, there's two major units that we talk about, right? Yep. Shy of HQs. It is Dark Reapers and it's Shining Spears. There's no variance anymore, or hasn't been for a while. So it's kind of frustrating when something like that does happen, and they're just so damn good. And we've seen across the board, anything that was really, really solid did take a points increase in some form or fashion. But either way, whatever, I'm down. Again, if Sean was here, I know that he's going to elaborate a lot more. And we are tomorrow night when we do our Battle Brothers talk on our secret Facebook group. So I can't wait for that. So Shining Spears did go up 6 points a model. So anybody who was running a 9-man unit, 2 10-man units, or whatever the case may be, or 2 7-mans, that 6 points is a substantial increase. I don't know if it's going to stop people. Again, ladies and gentlemen, just because you're like, oh, they went up, no one will take them. If they're good, they're still going to be good at 6 points higher.
Yeah.
So it doesn't immediately mean they didn't get priced out of contention. So that's good. Right. So either way, but thank you for adjusting. So now with 6 points, and if you're running an 8-man unit of it, now you might not have those extra points to give your Farseers, jump pack or whatever that shit is called, jet bikes or anything else. Maybe you don't have enough points for extra warlocks. Maybe there isn't, all the other little upgrades. So it is a positive.
Agreed.
Scorpions going down. I actually really, really like that because I like the fact that some of their other aspects are amazing. So that is really solid. Guardians going down is pretty cool. Support weapons. This is going to be a unit that I'm sure Sean is going to talk about because this is one of his favorite things. From 25 points, it going down 5 points is probably going to be a notable change. Wave Serpents going up plus 13 points is definitely something I'm glad they addressed because right before, and this happened, this book came out, it was printed as we've talked about on the show multiple times for them to release a book to put in our hands. It had to be finalized. Yeah, it had to be finalized back a couple months ago, right, Rob? 4 months ago?
I would say this is basically, we're playing with a post-Adepticon meta, post-FAQ meta, not really taking into account orcs or Dark Eldar or Space Wolves.
Yeah, so with that being said, we give GW a lot of flack, and I'm going to be the first person to tell you right now, they did look into a glass ball, and I'm sure that a lot of the play testers and things like that weighed in a lot, and so they collectively came together and saw in their hourglass and in their, magic balls that they saw that the Wave Serpent spam could be a legitimate thing, and it was. We just had 2 major events where there was 6 to 8 Wave Serpents on each person's in each person's list, and there was multiple lists like that. So that style list just went up 160 points, 148 points. That's a significant change. So they knocked that one out of the park. And the Wraith Knight would be one of the last ones. Oh my dear God, the Avatar came. I just saw it.
Yeah, he came
I just saw it for the first time here. He's down 30 points.
A lot of major stuff came down character wise.
It looks like just about everybody across the board. Zhang Zar, who was one of the best anyway. Karandris went down 25 points. Wow. No change to Magan Ra.
He was pretty solid.
He's solid anyway, so that's pretty cool. But the Wraith Knight, I believe he's going to be is the same as a Gallant. He's absolutely a thing. Coming down, Haspil, 87 points.
Wow.
87 points. He's a base of 315. Like,
yeah.
That is, dude, you can get 3 of them for $1,000. You can't tell me that's bad. I don't care, like any idiot out there that's like, oh, it's not enough. The Wraith Knights aren't a thing. Like, well, you're an idiot. I'm here to tell you. Something doesn't go down 87 points.
Nope.
And it's not better. Like, that is really, really good. So, I think this is solid. Pretty solid across the board. A lot of points decrease for scatter lasers, fusion pistols, fusion guns. This is a pretty big go at it too. So cool. I'm with it.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we'll see some variants on the Eldar list going into the future.
And I'm not going to be as ignorant to think that I'm going to tell you which Eldar factions or whatever they're called, clans,
Craft worlds.
Yeah, craft worlds got better or worse because I don't care about any of them.
Nice.
Just kidding. Someone who is smarter than I about this will tell us at a later date which ones got better or worse.
Tau changes. Interesting stuff in here. There was already some units that really weren't seeing play, and I think they got addressed. And then they brought the fluff back. The Farsight's the 8, but it's 11. It's a Lord of War detachment for over 1,000 points. Like, I think it's over 1,100 if I remember correctly. It's cool. But how often are we going to see it? I think that's that Friday night thing again.
Yeah, never going to see him. I don't care. What was the point cost one more time, or Rob?
1,100 with weapons ish, including the drones. Just like 22 models.
1122, and you still have 750 points. All right, I retract my super negative stance of saying 1,100 is too much. You might see him, but probably not. To be honest, I could probably make a point for him. Is he greater than 3 Yavaras? No.
No.
So no, you will not see. You will not see.
No.
Okay. Did the Yavara?
No. They are the same. Yes.
I'll take the same rather than a points increase. Shocking.
It was very weird to see. I did like that the crisis suits went down to 27, so they went down 15 points each. The bodyguards went down 15 points because of the same model, obviously. Ghost keels went down. Stuff we weren't seeing. So broadsides, missiles now are a thing.
Yeah, Rob, let's do this real quick. So a actual crisis suit went down 15 points?
Yes.
So if I give him a missile pod and a plasma rifle, because those were the 2 weapons my loadouts were before, the missile pod is 9 points cheaper and the plasma rifle is 3. So I've got a total of war gear of 12 points cheaper and your entry fee of 15 points cheaper. So these guys dropped 27 total points. So if you were running a 3-man squad of that, you just gained, 81 points to your army.
Pretty solid.
I know you were happy with your numbers at Necrons, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
A 3-man crisis team with all 3 having missiles and plasmas literally just dropped 80 points. Like, that is astonishing. I'm with it. And broadsides going down, 35 points. Is that correct?
Yeah.
They dropped 35 points.
Well, 35 points. So I guess it's only 25.
Oh, a 25-point decrease. Yeah. So that is major. again, 3-man squads. We are absolutely going to see some Tau on the horizon. I actually can't wait to get an expert because, again, I'm not as versed with Tau and I don't just want to rattle stuff off. I have plenty of stuff that I'm passionate on. But, again, if we just look at raw points, this is amazing. So I'm going to do my due diligence and maybe we can get Austin A-Dog because I know he is a huge Tau player. So this could be – I can't wait to see what some lists look like that aren't just a bunch of damn drones, right?
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah, true.
there will be a lot more variants, which is going to be cool.
Yeah, give me some big guys. Give me some broadsides back on the tables because those guys, though, we remember the days for anybody who just joined us in 7th edition and 8th edition. They didn't understood that back in 6th where something had to become, a 2-up rerollable and vulnerable save came from. It's because Tau firepower was so strong that it literally forced demon players and Eldar players to come up with combos to create a 2-up and vulnerable rerollable save. So I think they could get back to there maybe.
Yeah, it was a little brutal.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry, before we get out of here. Shadow Sun drop into 110. Shadow Sun drop into 110 is pretty powerful. That's actually as big of a drop in my mind as the Broodlord at 162 points to 115. And Shadow Sun was in most people's lists. Farsight dropping, really good. No, you got to be happy if you're a Tau player.
Yeah, I think I would like to see more Tau. I think Tau just look cool. I'd rather see more Tau than Eldar personally, but
I agree, but I hate them both. But I do hate Eldar more. Like my Eldar hate comes from my soul. Like, it's deep.
But Tau are just robots, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't hate the Tau that much. I just hate them because they're Xenos, but they're all right. They're okay. The Eldar, no. Mm-mm.
Absolutely not. All right, let's do demons and maybe jump into some Vigilus stuff. So I don't think it's any secret that a lot of the named demon princes and even the named greater demons and even the demon princes went down in points. But how big is that? Like,
massive.
Why do you say that? I mean, obviously it'd be good to see them on the tabletop, but
yeah, there was no. You either took a Herald or you took a Primarch. There's no in between, right? There were some people that like the Bloodthirster, Intense Rage, or Intense Rage, or whatever it's called, or there you might see some random demon princes in there from Thousand Suns, but like literally there was no in between. You don't take big fatties, you don't take Bellicors, you literally don't do any of that because if you're going to do that point investment, go ahead and drop another 120 and get a Primarch. So I love the fact that they have come full circle. You can get a great unclean one for 275. Love it. You're going to see that kit more. Rodigus at 280. He's actually worth it at 280. He could never make his points back at 350. It wasn't possible. 330. He wasn't going to make his points back. So I like that. The Lord of Change, actually, again, talking with Austin earlier, Lord of Change is in his Battle Brother in his Magnus Mortarion list because he dropped almost 100 points. I mean, he's a mini Magnus now. So I mean, this is really good for anybody out there, and I like it that those points came from their big guys, unlike Aramon. So like, if we look at it from the HQs, all the Imperium and stuff like that, they're little guys, right? The 22 or 32 millimeter bases got ridiculously cheaper. I'm glad that the bad guys versions, shy of Abaddon, I think he went down, but I'm glad that the points came in their named demon princes and not so much other guys because that's exactly where they need to be. So now that we're at Chaos, can I talk about my rant on why I don't give a damn that occultists went up a point?
Sure.
Are you kidding me right now? So like I'm playing a list. Tell me what somebody's list is. Like Kenny's list, right? With decimators and cultists and all these guys. If you're so care about that 1 point that it went up, Kenny was running 120 cultists. You're telling me your list went up 120 points? That's less than my Castellan that I'm thinking about that he's going to go up. And I know that the Castellan is that much of a workhorse, and I'm still going to take him. Your cultist bombs and stuff that you were doing are still the backbone of what you want to do. The 1 point increase, God forbid if anybody's complaining and they're only running 80 cultists. Your list went up 80 points. You probably saved 80 points on the back end if you were running Rodriguez or some of these other guys, or if you were running Cormazurk, they got cheaper. If you were running, other things, like literally they got cheaper. So you actually won't feel the points increase. And it's not like you were running 300 cultists, so your army went up 300 points. We're talking most people were running, especially after the big FAQ, considering you could only tie to traders one time in a game. The fact that it went up, most people have already toned it back to running 40 to 80 to maybe 90 as two squads of 45 cultists. My list went up 90 points. I don't care. Like, stop whining about it. It ain't that big a deal. Like I can't wait till Kenny gets on and he'll give his exact opinion. But like in all reality, you do have Death Blossom attacks that you're still going to want to do with 40 dudes. You still can once a game tie to traders. You still can bet to the long war these guys. You still can warp time these dudes and have all these other things and access to stuff like, they're still amazing guys. Your list went up 80 points. Big deal. You tell me that your list isn't over now. I bet you anything the cultists went up, but your list is still under because of the rest of the points decrease across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about this next week when we get Kenny in here, and hopefully Sean back. We'll have a lot more because we'll actually have the books. We'll have a lot more input. Just seeing kind of like what the meta is going to be and what you guys' lists are already changing, I'm sure. Would you say we jump to the detachments, the special, what's their actual name? It's specialist detachments. These things are cool. I just want to go out there and say real quick, I was worried, everybody was when we heard the first reports from the Vigilus Open Day that there was going to be formations. And I was like, oh, no big deal. There'll be narrative. It won't be a big deal. And they're like, yeah, and they're for all match play, open play, whatever. And I was like, I hope they thought about them. And from the looks of things, they have. So congrats and, props to GW and the playtesters for not effing this up and really giving these things a narrative type feel. Like you're telling me that, I can get a battery of like artillery. I can get, veterans of like this Vigilus thing. Like everything you look at, all these detachments, all the orc stuff, don't even get me started. Like orc players got to be like, oh my gosh. And this really seems to be adding to that whole putting the 40K back into 40K. And I think it was, from what I've seen so far, I am thoroughly impressed with the way they're doing this, the way they're rolling it out, and the way they're kind of weaving it all together with all three of the open play, the narrative play, and the match play, and making something for everybody from the top of the hobby pyramid, where you got, those 600, 500 competitive folks that go to everything all the time, to the people at the bottom that just want to buy something cool. They just want to paint it. Maybe they'll play with it. Maybe they won't. And I am super stoked to get my hands more on Vigilus than Chapter Approved, to be quite honest. So I don't know how you guys feel, but as a semi-competitive kind of dude, that's where I'm at.
Haspil, before I chime in.
No, I need Chapter Approved. I need my sister's decks. And for folks that are worried that we're not going to talk about sisters, we're probably not tonight.
It's just too much.
There's just too much, but we will have our own special sisters dedicated episode with incense and Gregorian plain chant. And I
think Kenny still has those.
Yeah, the proper level of piety. But let's just say that the sisters are solid now. Before Chapter Approved came out, the reason you don't see that army is because it's too expensive, like dollar wise, right? It's like it's way too expensive. So that's why you don't see, unless people already have a sisters army, you don't see people fielding them. They're way better with chapter approved. Way better.
Sick. Yeah, and it's crazy because they're really expensive and their models suck.
Yeah.
It's not even like they're really expensive and they're cool models. They really suck and they're old. So, and now GW is putting the kibosh saying, like, if you want to play on streams and stuff like that, no third-party miniatures. Like, well, wait a second. The sickest sisters models right now aren't made by GW. Now, that's absolutely going to change because nobody competes with GW's miniatures in a lot of instances, but it's not always true. But I can only imagine that there's sister models that are going to come out. Obviously, look at the Saint, look at the Gemini. So absolutely. Now that that's been said, my opinion, I'm going to take a different stance, Rob. I'm glad that you liked it. I'm glad that we both didn't have to say we hate this idea, but from at the competitive level, I don't like it. I think it's too much. I think that GW thought that they had to release this right on the heels of this chapter approved, maybe to make sure that they felt like we're still giving us stuff, so it could feed our feed the 40K download stream that they've been giving us for the last 18 months. But I think it's too much. My gut instinct, and this is just, we all have opinions. My knee slap instinct right now is. And the reason why I don't like it, I love it for a Thursday night pickup game. I love it for games at live battle reports that we're streaming on longword.net. Like, I love all these things, right? But I really wish right now, knee slap, knee jerk reaction, I wish tournaments, high-level tournaments would say Adepticon, LVO. I wish they'd say, hey, we're not going to use these. Because, and the reason why I say this is now we're back to it. I have to have this book.
Oh, true.
I have to have this book. I now have to, if I'm going to run a Imperium army that has 3 different factions, I have to have these 3. Then I have to have chapter approved. Then I have to have my FAQ that's printed out. And I have to have my rule book. And then I have to have this Vigilus book to make sure that my opponent is using the stratagems and everything else in the right way. And then literally, if my army doesn't have, if I'm playing, Dracaria or something that doesn't have one of these stratagems, I still now have to bring this book to the table because when my opponent uses it on me, I have to make sure that I know that he's doing it the right way. So again, as we laid out, I have to have 6+ books to come to a table now. GW just added another one to it. So the rules, I can only imagine, are amazing, and I'm so pumped, and we started breaking them already, and so it's a lot. But in my opinion, we just took them adding this to it. I now have to know when I walk up to a table that I have to worry about literally. It's a whole nother, what is it? It's a whole nother college course. That's what it looks like. I thought I was going to graduate. I thought I had enough credits, but I don't. GW says calculus times 10 class or whatever, it is. It's now you have to take that class. So that's why I'm saying I don't really know if I like it right away, but I'm excited to talk about the rules because damn if they're not amazing.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Normally I feel the same way with all those books, and plus we know they're setting the stage for a second Vigilus book because Chaos, Necrons, what else? There's other Tau aren't in there, so chances are there's another book on the way, which would mean even more material. But and I don't know if this is good or bad. As we saw with the Necromunda and also Blood Bowl, the Necromunda one just came out last week. They put out the Necromunda rulebook with all the errata and all the FAQs into it. Like, it's basically a brand new rulebook a year later, right? Plus, they put out the gang book, which was all the supplement stuff collected all in one book through the past year. So I don't know if that's a good precedent or a bad precedent because who wants to keep buying a 40K rulebook every freaking year? But maybe that's what will happen in 2019. But they do have that avenue available to us. Just saying. I don't want to say it's good or bad. I'm just saying the possibility is there. So let's jump into some of the stuff here. We've got the detachments, and what's cool about the detachments is you have to take them and you play these stratagems, and they unlock keywords, and everything in a particular detachment that has the keyword will benefit in a certain way. And the stratagems say, hey, these certain models get this keyword. So it behooves you to take those certain models, right? so that you get the keywords, so you maximize your potential for not only spending these command points, but also wasting this whole detachment thing or a whole detachment, one of your 3 on these things right here. Well, what is cool, and if you have command points to burn, first off, you've got the field commander stratagem, which is across the board, where it says that you can choose a character from your army that has gained a keyword from one of the specialist detachment stratagems that is not your warlord and not a named character. You can then give that character the warlord trait of the specialist detachment they are part of. So you can kind of shoehorn existing if it matches the criteria. So you got to check all the asterisks and all the boxes and do all your flowcharts. But if you match all the criteria, you can have your existing, warlord from your codex warlord trait, or perhaps a special character that comes with a specific one. You put him into the detachment, and then somebody else in that detachment, now, as long as they meet the criteria, can get one of those new specialist warlord traits as well. Again, it's cool. It's fluffy. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I like it. I'm excited to see what it does. I think the rules are going to be amazing. I'm with it.
Yeah, I think it's all right. I honestly, I haven't done my due diligence on those.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole Vigilus thing has kind of passed me by because I just haven't had a whole lot of time. So it's like, oh, sister stuff. I gravitate to that. You know what I mean? And I haven't really concentrated on that stuff.
Yeah. Give us a couple. I know the guard one. I couldn't recite it off my head verbatim, but so give us.
We'll start with
one you have put up.
Here, I'll put you can read along here. I can put it in the chat. Cool.
Thank you.
So we've got the Genestealer Cult one. And
thank you for starting there.
This one's interesting. So obviously you can make, and I'm trying to read from these pictures here, which probably isn't a good idea, but it looks like the first one called the Anointed, the Anointed Throng.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm just glad I pronounced that correctly.
Leave that there.
Yep. This one benefits aberrants. It looks like they gain the Anointed Throng keyword. And once they get the Anointed Throng keyword, the Warlord trait for anybody in there will get, add 1 to the charge roll for your Warlord and friendly, can I just say Throng units that are within 6 inches of your Warlord when the roll is made. So if you choose, you probably know better than most what trait is worth keeping from the book, but then also you can play that Supreme Commander and get this one too. So that's kind of the tactical flexibility of it.
Yeah, as of right now, the Warlord traits are trash.
Oh.
So this is actually the best one.
There you go.
So yeah, this is really great too, because what'll happen is, you can use stratagems, to bring yourself in the Warlord trait when the book is going to come out, if it holds true to form of the Genestealer Cult of old, right? One of their Warlord traits is going to be, you just pick, you don't roll on the cold ambush table, you just pick whatever one you want. So obviously, if your Warlord is not a Primus, so now this Warlord can be a Patriarch, let's say, which is the Broodlord. So he automatically gets to get the 6, right, and be multiple inches away from you, like a few inches away from you, with him and a squad of Genestealers, because characters can come in together, right? So they pop potentially show up. Now you're telling me that the Primus can come in with a unit and roll 3d6 using the stratagem, and get to re-roll any of those, fishing for a 6, potentially add a 6 total dice, because 3 with 3 re-rolls, you're going to get a 6 out of those. So now you can reliably get 2 units on somebody turn 1. What I love about this is this is saying that if you really want to go major hard, you can say burn re-rolls, bring all your guys in, still on this on your Warlord, your Patriarch Warlord, and know that you don't need to get that 6. You don't need to just get that 5. Being able to get +1 inches, meaning you're okay being 9 inches away. You can just roll, a 4. Because now a 4 means you're 9 inches away, aka a 4 means now you're 8 inches away. Right? So you 50% of the time your aberrants are going to get in. Now you're just fishing for a 4, 5, or 6 on one dice. That is major. I am loving this.
So there's also a relic. It's an abominant only, and it's just, I'm impressed by it. Maybe not. Sometimes I get overly excited about things, but it replaces their sledgehammer, and it has the following profile: strength ×2, -4 AP, D6 damage on rolls of 1 or 2 made with the weapon count as 3 instead for the damage. So it's pretty much auto 3.
And this is for what again? I'm sorry.
This is replaces the sledgehammer on the abominant, which I think you can only take 1 per 3 or something on the abominants. I might be wrong. Somebody fact check me on that.
Where is this rules at? I'm scrolling through here. Where the hell is
it's under the Anointed Throng data sheet, or it's like the double page for the 2 formations, or the 2 specialist detachments. It's the very first one listed on the page.
Okay. Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable because, the aberrants for 1 but you can have 3, I believe, in the unit.
I think it's 1 every 3 duders or something, but this one you can only obviously have 1 relic, so whatever, but that's a pretty hefty relic.
That is a major relic.
Okay. I was just making sure. I was like, that seems pretty good. This next stratagem also seems pretty good to me, but again, sometimes I get excited over things for no reason. So it's 2 CPs, devotion till death. Use the stratagem at the start. I think this is the key here. The start of the fight phase. Pick an Anointed Throng aberrant unit from your army until the end of the phase. So you're still in the fight phase. When a model from this unit is slain, that model is not removed from the battlefield as normal, but can immediately pile in and fight, even if it's already been chosen to fight that phase. After its attack's been resolved, it is then removed from the battlefield. So it's kind of like wolfing?
Oh, my dear God.
Is that good? That seems good.
My hands, for anybody who's driving and listening to this, my hands are cupped on the top of my forehead, and I'm leaned over because if GW, when the Genestealer Cult book comes out, if they have a fight against stratagem, period, just a generic fight against stratagem, as the NIDS do, for 3 CP, the ultimate Death Blossom attack has just happened. Because you're telling me that these guys, this Thong unit, okay.
Throng. I think you said it right. You said it right.
Okay. This unit, which is a subfaction of this Genestealer Cult army, because I decided to make this detachment of this, that is powerful as shit.
So it's limited to abominants and aberrants. That's who can wear the thong.
No, to be honest, I'm pretty sure if you look in the pictures, every aberrant has a thong on anyway. So, but why this is key, Haspil, I don't know if you picked up on it, but it says when the model dies, the model doesn't stay stationary and swing.
Right.
Okay.
So you can move like 9 inches, right?
It can immediately pile in and fight again. So immediately my mind goes to, I make my charge. I actually know that I'm going to play the stratagem, so I overextend, ladies and gentlemen. I say to myself, I'm in a precarious situation self. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make this charge, and I'm going to declare as many units as possible, right? And tag a lot of people, because when I die, but I might not only charge, but my core unit. Because when I die, I get to pile in, and you can only fight units that you've declared as a charge. It doesn't matter if you charge them. You have to just declare them. So I am now just going to declare a bunch of stuff, but make sure that my units are going after, said target. But still, I'm going to play where I'm within 3 inches of other units, because if I decide to die, and pull from this unit, now this guy is the one who gets to move 3 inches forward and pile in and fight that guy. that I didn't make on base. So there's a lot of tactical flexibility in this, especially if you really want to hit a unit of, if you want to hit 3 or you put 5 guys on Bobby G, but there's still 3 Razorbacks out there, right? And you're like, damn, I want to put all my attacks on Bobby G just to make sure, but if he interrupts me and kills, I might just take my swings into the Razorbacks.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's solid. The next stratagem in this in the Throng is one that allows you at the start of the fight phase for 1 CP to pick an aberrant unit that's within 6 inches of the abominant, and this is going to allow you to reroll wound rolls of 1, so it's like fake lieutenant until the end of that phase. So I mean, there's some strong combos just for these big beefy guys right here.
Yeah, major. And shout out, I like the fact that they just came out with the cool new models, the cool new kits. Obviously, GW is going to make them good. So solid golf clap as of right now for how they've done so far, even without the Genestealer Cult book. And again, if we haven't said it for anybody who hasn't heard it in a while, the rumor on the street is, or in the back alleys per se, that the Genestealer Cult book was so damn good that it's the first time that some of the playtesters have said, you guys have to stop this right now. It's too good. Like, not even like, oh, hey, this might be an issue. It's like, this is game changing. You do not want this. It's like in one voice, they cried into the night.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what GW did to counteract it, if they changed anything or not. But when a lot of people are saying that, there's got to be some truth in it. So
I can definitely get behind that. I don't know if we're gonna have time to go through all of these, but I did want to touch on the Marine one, the Primaris stuff, because obviously they seem to be making a push on the Primaris stuff. And what's cool about this is that there's basically Primaris generic. There's some stuff in here specifically for Ultramarines, but the generic stuff is pretty solid too. Now, I would like to caveat this. I had to look it up because I was confused at first. I was like, that seems incredibly innocuous. Like, when do I do that? When I mustered my army and during my cracking good build phase. But they actually did it right here, and they say specifically when you use these, and I'm trying to pull it up. Give me 1 second here. Here it is. The Indominus Crusaders General. This pertains to a Space Marine detachment, and so a Space Marine detachment is out of Codex Space Marines. They all have keyword index Astartes and chapter brackets, whatever, and also Imperium. But if you look at the section before the stratagems, it's like any Space Marine detachment. So it doesn't look like you can use these for the things like Deathwatch or Ultramarine, or Blood Angels, etc., etc. It's only the stuff specifically in Codex Space Marines. Yeah. So that was my take on it. I may be reading into it wrong, but I don't think I am. But just take that.
Well, I think if it was everybody, it would say Astartes.
Right. Because then it could be shared.
Yeah. I think you're reading it right.
Okay. That's generally what I was thinking as well. So first off, you can change any number of characters to that are Primaris into the Indominus Crusaders, which will allow you to take these specialist attachments. But some of the other generic stratagems that pertain to this are very interesting. Not only perhaps when you stack them together, but when you go up against maybe like there's some tactical applications to playing them on different Primaris units too. But let's I want to see what your thoughts are on this, Juice. So the first one is target sighted, and I like this. It's 1 CP. You use a stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. You pick a veteran intercessor squad. Until the end of that phase, their stalker bolt rifles now can target characters even if it is not the closest enemy unit. In addition, if you roll to wound on a 6-up for this weapon, it inflicts a mortal wound in addition to its normal damage, which I'm pretty sure is -1 right off the bat.
Yeah, that is Wow. Really, really good. So obviously they're trying to push Primaris on us hard. So remember that guy we were talking about, Rabute Gilliman?
Oh yeah, him.
Oh yeah, that guy. Him standing next to these fools is unbelievable. So yes, I like the fact sixes fishing, and guess what happens? One thing that I love, Robbie B, when I'm shooting something that is strength 4 or 5 at toughness 7, let's say I'm shooting intercessors now at a Primarch at Magnus, right? Mm-hmm. What I love when Bobby G is standing nearby is I really got to have 5s and 6s. So I roll my 40 shots. If I've gotten close, I roll my 20 shots, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, oh, man, I only got 2. So that's a mortal wound and a save, right? And then you're like, well, wait a second. Bobby G's nearby. I get to pick up those 18 dice. You can reliably get 6 6s, right? So that is 6 mortal wounds to Magnus, who does not have an invulnerable or a feel no pain. And now, Magnus, do me a favor. Go ahead and take those 6 saves from them. So there's 6 3-up saves, and then take an additional, let's say 5 more from 5s. So you've literally take 11 armor saves and 6 mortal wounds. Math says when you have a 3-up armor, you're saying that you're going to fail 5.4 of those. 3.8 of those, something like that. So you literally, this intercessor squad just did 9 wounds to Magnus. Like this is powerful, but it's not done, right?
No. There's a few more. So you've got this stratagem called Boltstorm, which is basically pertains to, of course, the veteran intercessors that are in there. The bolt rifles, with this models in this unit that are armed with gain the following ability. When this weapon targets an enemy unit at half range, it automatically hits its target.
What?
Wow. You're right, Haspil. I was wondering if you said that correct. So let's do some math real quick. This is enacted. This unit of intercessors now have their weapon profile is doubled. So they're rapid fire 2, right?
Yes.
So now at 12 inches, they are shooting 4 shots each. So if there's some poor fool hobo out there who has deep struck in, who has done something, I don't know. So you're telling me that at half range, at the good shooting, those 40 shots that 10-man unit is shooting automatically hit.
Yeah. I mean, you might not necessarily always need it if you have Robbie G, but this is the auto bolt rifle, which is different from the Stalker. So it's not the
right, yeah.
But it's still decent.
Nope. So yeah, let's continue to go down this path. I still like it. I still love it, even if you do have Bobby G, because guess what just happened? I just saved 45 seconds on my clock because I'm playing a tournament. Chess clocks are a thing. I don't have to worry about rolling 40 dice, picking through the misses that are someone gave me -1 to hit, so I don't get to re-roll 2s or don't get to re-roll 3s, but I get to re-roll 4s, and I do all this bullshit, right? I don't have to worry about that. You're within 12 inches of me, I have 40 dice in my hand, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care you're -6 to hit. My 40 shots. My bolt guns are flamers.
Yep.
Yeah, they're getting 2 shots. They're pretty stout. Now there's this other one that's called this other command or other stratagem that says until the end of your turn, your next turn, until the start. Excuse me, it's hard to make out. Until the start of your next turn, each time you would roll an unmodified hit roll of 6 for an attack with a model in this unit. This is the fight phase one right here. Where is the one where there is one that allows you to get multiples. Where is it? I bet you it's under the Indominus, the actual Ultramarine ones. Where is it?
So the chat is actually, this is good, and I need to know just because I'm not up on the primary. So it's the Starker one. So it goes to double. They're not assault, or they're assault 2, not rapid fire 2.
Yes, those are assault 2.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So it went from assault 1 to assault 2. Got it. I thought that weapon was a rapid fire. So thank you, everybody.
Those ones.
Still 20 shots. So, but the reason why you can just do math on it real quick is why it's so good with Bobby G around as well. Obviously, anything's better with him. But now you're rolling 20 dice and fishing for 6s. Like, that is, and you're shooting characters.
Yes.
No, I don't think that works with the stalkers.
Oh, there it is. What's that? No, you can't do it with the stalkers.
Yeah, you can't do it with the stalker.
Oh, so
that's what allows you to shoot the characters with the stalker.
Character is the stalker. This one is which one was it? The assault 2 one.
Yeah, the auto rifle or whatever.
The bolt rifle. Yeah, the bolt storm is that. So you don't necessarily have to play it on the same thing, but this is the one that's key. I think I had to scroll down. Where is it? Okay, so use the stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a veteran intercessor unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, bolt rifles. Bolt rifle, I can't read that next word. In that unit are changed to rapid fire 2. Hold on a second. I think this is the one I was talking about. Of course, it's hard to see everything. Until the end of the phase, bolt rifles. The models in that unit are armed with change their type to rapid fire 2. Now, bolt rifle, I believe, is just the. Let's see.
That's the third gun that they have.
Bolt rifle, yes. So there's bolt rifle. There's auto bolt rifle.
And
so that
stalker.
One, yeah, that one does the rapid fire 2. So. My point is that there's a tactical application to all this because you could have 3 intercessor squads, right? Just chilling.
Yeah.
And then you could be like, this one gets this, and this one does this, and this one does that. And obviously Overwatch.
Yeah. I'm glad that GW has given us a stratagem per each gun instead of just saying a blanketed statement. All intercessors get this, right? Because then one of the weapon variants rises to the top. It's better than everyone else, and you never see those other ones. So this is very, very good rules writing, in my opinion, because you literally get to play whatever you want. If you want the unit to do this, you take intercessors with this gun because you have these stratagems in mind. Right? Or if their battlefield role needs to be this because you've already picked up the slack with with Devastators or anything else, I'm going to fill in and do this other thing, right? Because I do want the mortal wound. So solid. This is really good.
So the bolt rifle is the one that's strength 4 neg 1 damage. So it becomes, instead of rapid fire 1, it becomes rapid fire 2, which, as you know, we discovered with Grey Knights is pretty powerful in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So not too shabby, but yes, they affect 3 different weapons. So there is some tactical applications. You still have to spend the 1 CP to make them all the veterans and everything, but they got some good stuff. Like there's no doubt here. Where is the rest? Now let's take a look at the Warlord trait. So the Warlord trait for them, just to finish out this Indominus Crusader section here, the Warlord trait is called Gray Shield. Once per battle, to start your movement phase, your Warlord is on the battlefield. You may choose an Indominus Crusader unit in the same detachment as your Warlord and give them an additional chapter tactic until the start of your next turn. Now, this Vengeful Jan just gave us a donation on YouTube with the breakdown of all the rifles.
The rifles, because you guys were getting them all wrong.
Well, that actually might be the single greatest donation in the history of ever. Thank you. This, sir, is how you troll us in a positive manner. I love it. The Nova Star, you would be proud. This is unbelievable. Force us to look at it. Thank you, good sir. I almost feel like I owe you $10 in return.
No, definitely.
Love it.
It's different when we have the books in our hand, but when we're squinting at screenshots and then everything sounds the same, Bane, Hammer, Shadow Sword, mistakes will be made. And that's why we super appreciate all the, live comments from everybody and everything, obviously.
Keeps us honest.
It does. It does. And somebody's got it for real. So we'll keep going. This is pretty powerful because now they get an additional chapter tactic, which, remember, stuff like Lightning Assault is the White Scars one, where they can fall back and assault again. Like, them getting these now is a pretty huge tactical, play. Now, you got Flesh is Weak. You've got all the normal stuff, all the Ultramarine stuff if you want to shoot and things. Until the start of your next turn, Friendly Indominus Crusaders gain the benefit of that chapter tactic in addition to the others they already have. They're considered to have the keyword of the chapter that chapter tactic belongs to for the purposes of resolving this chapter tactic, which is important because, for instance, Lightning Assault says White Scars, which they're not White Scars, but they are for this. So I can see some weird stuff happening.
No, Space Marine chapters are a legitimate thing right now. If you have, for example, in your local hobby shop, a glass case that has beautiful models in it, in the bottom of that glass case, there's a Land Raider Crusader and Samael and 30 beautiful painted from 10 years ago Dark Angel Ravenwing bikes out there, right? That have sat in that case for potentially 6 years because they suck. They're back again because of this thing that I put a preface on in the beginning saying I didn't really like because of so many rules. But this is exactly how you make armies that are not playable again. You give them points decrease. You give them cool, dope rules.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's that easy. That's exactly what this Verges Thong Verges does.
And that's what Juice brings to the table.
That's literally what we do here.
That seems accurate. That seems like the name of it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, running it out real quick. So the Reliquary of Gatholmar. Enemy Psychers must subtract 1 from psychic test made within 18 inches of the bearer. In addition, if the psychic power is not successfully manifested, roll a d6. On a 4-up, the psyker that attempted to manifest the psychic power suffers d3 mortal wounds.
Oh, wow.
Yikes.
Wow. Talk about anti-psyker. I'm with this.
That's a nice little relic. Then you've got the Standard of the Ultima Founding. Primaris Ancient only. Once per battle at the start of your movement phase, the bearer can choose to plant the banner. If they do so, until the banner next makes a move, Friendly Indominus Crusader Infantry can reroll hits of 1 and wound rolls of 1 while they are within 6 of the banner.
Does that smell like the Relic of Lost Cadia to anyone?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, cool.
That one's definitely nice. So that's just a basic look at.
Would we say the tip of the iceberg?
The tip of the Throng formation.
So you heard it here first. We went long and strong on chapter approve, and we've given you just the tip of the Virgil thongs. Okay, so until next week, ladies and gentlemen.
When we say more stupid things.
Yes, we have to give you at least a couple zingers every show, and especially the double long episode we had to do it as well. Guys, do we think we're going to cover the rest of this and Sisters? We want to go into it next week?
Yeah, we'll have to.
Because
we're at 2.5 hours right now.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
killed this, and I think we did chapter approved justice. I think we've started out strong with Genestealer Cult and Space Marines, and because I just started scrolling through and my brain just started shutting down on all the love because I don't want to overlook it. Astra Militarum, wow. AdMech, unbelievable. I could spend 25, 30 minutes talking about Death Watch. Like, I believe that some of the things I have access to is that good. So, yes.
Well, I think Juice is right. Haspil, take us out of here.
I know this sounds crazy, but since yesterday on the road, I've been seeing the shape, shaving cream, pillows. Damn it, I know what this is. This means something. This is important.